You don't need to learn to code, you need to learn to think like someone who actually builds software. Let me explain why. Last year we organized an AI hackathon. After a long, exhausting day, we needed a simple stuff, a scoring board on a TV. You know, let judges enter new scores, we can present it on a TV so all the team are able to follow. Simple stuff. It was 3 AM, I was extremely exhausted, so I grabbed all my idea into one big massive prompt. The new Google Anti-Gravity I just launched, so I prompted there, hit enter and waited. Error after error, nothing worked at all. I am not surprised, but it was 3 AM in the morning. Nothing worked. The next morning, after 3 hours of sleep, I started fresh, breaking to pieces, one thing at a time. In 30 minutes, done, running on a TV. Same project, same AI, same tech. The only difference was how I thought about it. I've been building software for over a decade now, and my goal is from idea to MVP to teach people who don't come from software background how to use AI to build real custom software product. That 30-minute scoring board, that's easy, that's the starting point. But the thinking behind it, that's what makes everything else possible too. And I'm gonna teach you that. So here is what most people imagine when they start to building with AI. They think I will write a real detailed prompt with all the features, all the screens, all the little idea I have. Then I hand it to ChatGPT and I say, build it. Sounds reasonable, right? If I can write code, the more detailed the better. It doesn't work that way. If you are handing a 20-page specification to an AI, several things will go wrong. First, AI lose focus. So these tools have what's called a context window. Think of it like an attention span. Even if your documents fit, AI doesn't weight everything at the same level. Some really important thing on page 15 gets ignored, and a not important part on page 3 get all the attention. Second, a long document will almost always say one thing in one place and a slightly different thing in another place. You won't catch it. AI won't catch it either. It just quietly pick a version or try to do both at the same time. Third, you get a mess. Without a clear structure, AI will generate you one big, long, tangled file. The developers call it a monolith. You are not able to edit a piece without breaking another part. And fourth, when something goes wrong, and it will, you have no clue what caused it. The login system, the layout, the data layer, anything. Good luck finding in your wrong prompt. If you are not coming from software development, this is the part where things fall apart. But there is a solution for that. Here is what nobody wants to hear. With AI getting better and better every week, a lot of people assume that thinking becoming optional, that AI can handle that part. That's not true at all. What changes is that the actual writing code is no longer the bottleneck. AI is great at it, but the thinking, the planning, the creation of the system, it's still on you. You need to figure out how to design a system and how to think in a way that AI can understand it and AI can build on it. And it needs a special way of thinking. Let me give you an analogy. Think of AI like a very talented but very literal junior developer. It can write excellent code, but it needs cleared, structured information and help. I actually know what it feels like from the other side. Back in 2015, when I became a mobile developer intern, I hadn't heard half of the tools and frameworks I need to use within days. And after my first solo project, the review came back and there was 50 issues. Fundamental mistakes. 50. Simply I didn't know how to do that. But it's fine. I learned, I tried, and I fixed. That's life. AI is already much better than I was as that intern. But the point is the same. You need to guide them to the right direction. Give it a clear structured prompt and it deliver. Give it a 40-page document and say build this, and you got chaos. So, what the actual skills here? It's not coding, it's not prompting. It's to learn to think like a product designer and a software architect combined. The product designer figures out how should this work, who are the users, for whom are we building for, what screens should we design, what data do we need. The architect figures out the system behind it, how should we build it, in what structure, what decision we have to make now, so we do not have to rebuild everything later. You do not have to be all these professionals, but you need to learn how they think on a high level. And the good news, it's completely learnable. So, what does it look like in practice? We talked about a big document approach and why it doesn't work. So what does? You work in layers, from broad to specific, and AI can help you with all the layers. Let's start with a big picture. You define your idea, you define your goal, you have to think about your main module. You don't have to figure out everything alone, AI can help you with that. You write down your idea, you ask questions, you answer, and together you figure it out a big, clear picture. Then you take each module and design it in detail separately. How does the registration look like? What you want to show on the dashboard screen? What's happened when someone is putting their order? You have to design it piece by piece in detail for each of the different modules. Then you take these modules and create small, actionable development tasks from it. Small enough that it's easy to build, easy to fix, and easy to test. So if something will broke, and it will broke, I'm sure for that, you will exactly know where it happened and what caused it. So the full workflow looks like this. Step 1, specification. You describe, AI asks questions, and together you create a full, clear, structured picture. Step 2, architecture. Before you write any single line of code, you have to decide on structure. What to build, what data do you need, how the strings connect, etc. Step 3, task breakdown. You grab a module and you create a list of small actionable tasks from it. Step 4, implementation. You go through task one by one. You grab one, you hand it to AI, clear context, you test it, you review it, move to the next one. And at the end, step 5 is iteration. You fix, you improve, you check everything, but it will be easy because of the structure. You will know where to find everything in your code base. And here is the important thing. AI will help you with every one of these steps. It's not like you are sitting alone with a blank page. It's a conversation. You are working together, but you have to make the decisions. There is one more thing you should know before I let you go. In the software developer world, some decisions are harder than the others, and you are not able to fix that later, or nearly impossible to fix that later. Let me give you an example. User roles. Think about, you start with a manager role and everything works perfectly. Then you add an employee role and you figure out, oh, maybe the employees shouldn't have to see all the data that a manager has. And then you add an administrator role, and now it's getting a nightmare. And you have to go through all your application and found every action, every button, every server call, and make sure that just the right person will be able to use it. It's a nightmare. You have to rewrite your code, and you think about, if you just miss one spot, it's a security risk, and now your employees are able to read data they should not have access to. So that's why you have to think in first. The smart move, make these decisions upfront, when it's cheap and clean. You don't have to know all the answers right now, but you have to know that these questions exist before you start building. Let me bring it all together. The skill of the AI era isn't coding, it's system thinking. It's the ability to break down problems, make the right decisions up front, know how to structure things, learn how to guide AI step by step. You have to think like a product designer, you have to think like a software architect. You don't have to become one, but you have to borrow how they think. But, and this is an important but, you need to learn the way of thinking, you need to learn how they structure. And that's exactly what I am building, a step-by-step learning platform for people like you. I am publishing a new chapter every week. It starts from the foundation, from the basics, like what decision have to make you up front to build a proper product. And we will go into detail for exact specifications and tools to use. It's built especially people like you who don't have a software engineering background but want to build digital products with AI. Go to learn.fromidea to mvp.com and see you there.